Well, hello, everyone. Welcome to Real Estate with Ryan. So excited to be with you on a Saturday. Amazing Saturday. Big game day today in Neyland. So maybe if you're not listening to Real Estate with Ryan, you may be at the game. Hope you're having a great day and a great start to your Saturday and your weekend. I've got a great show for you. So much going on in the real estate news. As you know, been watching the markets. It's what you've been waiting for. Interest rates have fallen to a year low, the lowest we've seen in over a year. And is it what's going to spark the housing market? We'll talk about that. And is now the time to sell in 2025? It's fall, Ryan. It's going into, I saw actually Thanksgiving and Halloween stuff out, but it's not time to sell. But could it be the key time to sell? Interest rates are low. Are buyers coming off the sidelines? We'll talk about that and so much more. Real Estate with Ryan. Thanks for tuning in. And if you're tuning in for the first time, as always, you can always catch Real Estate with Ryan every Saturday on Talk Radio 92.3 FM. We're at 11 o'clock there. Also streaming on their Facebook channel. So check us out. Great partner there for years. News Talk 98.7, 1 p.m. Catch Real Estate with Ryan over there every 1 p.m. Great partners. Been dealing with us for probably, going 8, 9, 10 years now. So a long time. So appreciate our partners for airing Real Estate with Ryan. Follow us on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. It's X now. Try to keep all this straight. And then, of course, any kind of podcast, you name it, we're out there. And so been an amazing week. A lot going on in the real estate news. We'll jump right into it. Before we get going, always got our congrats. Got some new listings. Been busy in our office. New listing down in Regas. It's the penthouse. It's going on the market. Make sure you check that out. Officially went live this week. 333 West Depot Avenue, Unit 617, penthouse. Amazing views, great floor plan. You want to know more about that property? Check us out on ryancoleman.org. Pictures, walkthrough. It's a great property. You want to miss that property. New listing in Gatlinburg, 560 Thesa Way, a new cabin that we just listed out there. And this is the time for properties, cabins, 1031s, rates lowered. This is a great opportunity. Thinking about selling, it is a time to put your property in the market, and we love to talk to you about it. And we're seeing that pick up dramatically in the Smokies, so that's good to see. 527 River Place Way, Unit 516, going on the market. Exciting there. Congrats to our great seller, over $2 million on Cherokee Orchard Road, 604. Actually, I had an address change, actually 606 to be exact. So 606 Cherokee Orchard Road in Gatlinburg. Went under contract thanks to our amazing seller there, and glad we could bring that together. Big game day, 12:45 in Neyland. Next week is not a home game. It's an away game. So make sure you're subscribed to all of our channels, and thanks to all the winners that we could send to that Georgia game. And not enough about that last week's game. What an amazing game. I brought my whole family, and I was able to see some people that we sent, and it was fun times. And an amazing game. Wasn't what we wanted, but we had a great time, enjoyed the environment, got some great fans. I got some fans, friends of ours sitting next to us, just some amazing people there. And so it was a good time. It wasn't what we wanted, but I think it's very positive for our program. Everybody's excited, and hopefully for a big win today. So make sure you're following our channels. I'm going to get that in because we're going to get into our show. Like, share, and subscribe. Got some big news this week coming. Doing a commercial with Carla Pickens. You may know who she is. I'm sure you do. And she's an amazing young athlete, UT. And I'm doing something with Miles Kitzelman. So we've got new commercials coming out. Fun working with those groups. And it's going to be an amazing production. So follow our channel. I know my daughter plays softball as well. So you have some young ladies out there following. We've got some swag, some autographs from Carlin and Miles that we're going to be giving away on every Saturday. So like, share our page. Like, share, and follow. All you got to do. That's all you have to do to be registered to win. And we're sending 2 lucky groups to the remaining home games, parking pass, all courtesy of Hometown Realty. All right. I had to get that in there. I know it's football season. So let's talk about the real estate market while the rates are where they are. Job news came out. It's not exactly what they wanted to see. So interest rates were lowered. Now, a lot of people were saying, hey, well, including our president, hey, it's just a little late. But we are where we are. And this is an opportunity that we've seen the 30-year fixed mortgage fall to the lowest level since October of last year. The reaction to the actual August jobs report, which came out and obviously not to our favor. So that we see that the signs of the economy may be slowing down and certainly growing in directions that the economy is taking a different toll, and historically brings mortgage rates down. What does that bring, or what does that matter to you right now? What does it matter? You say, well, Ryan, our interest rates, what are our interest rates? That's a good question. They change daily, and so I had to take a picture of it. But our Freddie Mac Fannie Mae, currently 30-year mortgage is 6.26, and our 15-year is 5.41. And that's some we have them close to low sixes. So the rates change vary. We saw a couple of weeks ago a little impact that the news was going to be to such that the banks start adjusting ahead of the curve. And so we've seen some sales pick up, at least in our market, that was the anticipation of the Fed's move, and that's what happened. You know, currently towards the beginning part of the year, interest rates were at almost 7%. 7% on a $400,000 house doesn't sound like a big difference between 7 and 6, but a mortgage payment was $2,600 approximately. And now it's going to go down about $2,400. So that's $200 a month. That's $200 a month on this just adjustment. So that's a big savings for you, and we'll probably continue to see those adjustments. We're expecting probably 2 more rate cuts the rest of the year. I'm not going to predict anything. I think you guys have all seen what the Feds will do, won't do, what goes on in the housing market, But what we are seeing is this the key time for you to be selling. A lot of people that were thinking about buying or selling really pump the brakes hard, because why? Most important thing is affordability. It's still the factor that we talk every day on an appointment, conversations that we have on a routine basis. Yesterday I was meeting with a great client, and just the affordability factor in the housing market across not just the housing, right, but anything that you do, getting a remodel or construction or anything like that, affordability is key. And one of the biggest things we struggle with is if you're selling, you're buying, how do we juggle all that as a family? Great couple of Maryville that we were chatting with, and they're moving close to grandbabies. And I think that's, I really tell everybody on the show, we always consistently talk about this, but recession-proof is grandbabies. So what do you mean, Ryan, recession-proof? Means I don't care if the rates are 8 or 9 or 3 or 4. Is it a seller's market? Is it a buyer's market? There's something special about the grandbabies. And, of course, I can't tell you the countless interviews and appointments we've had. And, we sat with the husband, and he said, well, I've lived here 30 years. Actually, the appointment we'll just reference the other day, I was at an appointment in Maryville. I said, we're the original owners, Ryan, and love it here. I said, well, why are we moving? Well, husband was kind of quiet. The wife took the lead, and said we're moving close to the grandbabies, and they're moving towards, Middle Tennessee and maybe back to Nashville area, and opportunities there, and just you look at that and say, well, I've told them in the interview, I said that is the most reason that I see people move is close to grandbabies and kind of moving around to kind of be close to them. Life is short; you got to enjoy it, and grandbabies are special. One day we'll hopefully be grandparents. Hopefully got a long time before that comes. But, how important is that in the housing market that we see that come into play? And so I think that most people don't think about that. But that's probably, I'd say, hey, what's the number one factor? Who's going to move in any market? I'd probably say that the grandbabies are key. Job relocations right beside it. So, right now, opportunities could be key. Maybe you pulled your home off the market. You're putting the home on the market in spring, didn't sell, didn't have the opportunities. Still, you're on the market now, and you're not getting the activity that you expected. Well, the rates are here, they're changing, and now's an opportunity to possibly sell your property and go look and find something else. Or maybe you're relocating. Maybe that job just started opening up, and they're changing for the end of the year. So many things to think about if we're moving and selling. But I think the housing market's going to be continuing to increase. I think we'll see listings increase. I think we'll also start seeing sales pick up as we forecast. Are we shifting from a market of seller market to a more balanced market? What are we seeing in the housing market? I think it's clear that as we come up here on the second half of Real Estate with Ryan, what are the keys for sellers in today's market? And how are we going to transition from a seller's market that was dominant for a couple of years? list the property, low interest rates, multiple offers. How do we drift to the more balanced market? I think you're seeing it. Longer days on market. I think expectations. Sellers are seeing that homes are not selling overnight. Client asked me the other day, what's the average time on the market? I'd say it's about 60 days in the Knoxville housing market, but each area varies. So we're going to talk in the second half more about shifting from that seller-driven market, and then a lot of questions that you've given me on Real Estate with Ryan, different things about selling and buying, regarding, and top topics as we go into the second half of the year. Stay with us. We'll be right back with the second half.
Knoxville and East Tennessee. The region is known for its rolling hills, rivers, and lakes. There's no better place to work, live, or raise a family. Home is where your story begins. Buying or selling your home is a big decision, and you need a real estate team you can trust.
I'm Ryan Coleman with Hometown Realty, your hometown experts. Whether you're buying or selling a home, let us develop a winning game plan for you.
Hometown Realty is East Tennessee's #1 real estate group and a proud sponsor of the Vols.
I'm Ryan Coleman with Hometown Realty. The real estate market's changing every day. You need to know your home's value in today's market. Text your home address to 290-2290 for an instant, no obligation home evaluation. That's 865-290-2290. And remember, when you're ready to sell, we have a guaranteed sale program to get you in your next home stress-free. Trust your hometown experts. We've helped thousands of people just like you. All right, we're back at it, Real Estate with Ryan. Thank you for staying tuned with us. And as always, got a big show for you. We're talking about the transitions, market shifting from a more balanced market, from a dominant seller market for these years, and what to do. And I've got some great questions on the second half. Some of my viewers have kind of sent in, and we're going to cover some of those and maybe helpful in your journey if you're thinking about selling this fall, buying this fall or this winter, or even relocating out of state. Maybe some very helpful tips. As always, we got our 60-second vol update, so we'll get that going. Drum roll, please. All right, we're playing today. 12:45 should be a beatdown, hopefully knockdown, 50, 60-point win. We'll see. But it'd be a good opportunity for a lot of our players to get some reps, wins, and a lot of guys to heal for us going out of town. Next week, no home game. Playing Mississippi State Bulldogs September 27th at 4:15. That will be ABC broadcast, so big game there. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe to our channels. So big. We got so much going on. Everybody that went to the Georgia game, they had an amazing time, courtesy of Hometown Realty. We love to send you guys to the games. Love to do it, parking pass. And more importantly, I love seeing the photos and the videos afterwards. So all you have to do is like, share, follow our page, costs nothing, and we will send you to the game courtesy of our company there. Also, big commercials next week, a lot going on. If you have a little softball player, a little young lady that's admirations of being a Vol, well, there's no better role model than Carlin Pickens. Great commercial that we've got coming up with Miles Kitzelman. We'll be hitting the airways, but we're going to have some swag, some autograph gear from Carlin and Miles. Make sure you like, share. We're going to give those away every Saturday that we give home games. So maybe football, maybe you're a softball. No worries. Like, share, and subscribe. Share it to a friend. We're going to get these out next game. So next week we'll start having this coming out. Share it to a friend. Maybe your football. Share it to somebody that likes softball. We've got both worlds. Amazing student athletes, and excited to go work with them. So as always, thank you for subscribing to our channel. And that's our 60-second vol update. Go Big Orange. So much going on. It's one of our busiest times of the year. I was thinking about going for the show and just what comes in. Not only as busy as madness as a business owner, right? I've got two little ones. So we were at the T-ball game the other night, and my little son got his little second game ball and did amazing. And then as most parents, and you guys are having youth athletes, and they're running them around and no dinner time, and it's all over the place. I mean, it's a wildness. And then we're commercials and on campus and selling homes. How do we do it? I don't know. Grace of God that we're able to pull all this off. But it's fun stuff. I really think about this second half of the year, really this push. Interest rates just lower, so my team's all already sweating to know what's going to happen. Because in our business, and if you're selling or buying, understand this, real estate is in cycles. Real estate is always I always say that it comes, all or nothing. If you watch the real estate market, all of a sudden you get some showings and there's a burst, or there could be a quietness. And you say, well, what's wrong? Or then all of a sudden we get a couple offers and then it goes away. Or before you know it, if you're in our business, we got a lot of things going on. It could be a pause. And then all you know it, we've got 7 or 8 listings in a week or more. And so that's challenging. And of course, in the space of real estate or dealing with the public, it's a challenging business because, consumers, as everybody, right? We all want it now, right? I was talking to my friend the other day. I was like, hey, look, we want it now. This way, we want it that way, and we want it now, right? That's just life. And so there's a demanding part of that business, and as the market increases, those are things that you've got to deal with in the customer service space. So our team's equipped from it. If you're thinking of buying, selling, or however we can be of assistance to you, we're always here. It's the easiest. I say it's the best number in real estate, 693-SOLD. If you're wanting to check your value, I think that is key. You always want to start, obviously, listening to this radio show is a great opportunity that if you're going to select an agent, you want to get one that you can trust. Great couple I met in Maryville the other day, didn't sell that home, listed, didn't get the results that they were looking for. And he said, Ryan, I just want to know that I've heard your radio show, I've listened to you for years, and we just want to, when the timing's right, when we get the transfer and we know where our daughter's going, we're going to have the right agent to help us be able to push us forward. And that's what we do this show. So we're always here for you, and this is what we do. I've got a strong team that works with me, and we pride ourselves in taking care of our great clients. So let's shift over there because I'll get moving. But what I was saying is, if you need some assistance on knowing what your home's worth, but you don't need to hire us out there or call us out there, or sometimes it's hard to talk to people, or just you want it in the information gathering stage, right? We're gathering information. Go to my website, free, ryancoleman.org. Check it out, free market evaluation. We'll actually give you an instant valuation there, right on the spot. It gives you a gauge. You want more accurate, we'll get out and come out and chat with you. So going back to our show, shifting seller's market over these things that the Fed's Reserve has changed on the interest rates is affordability. And if you think affordability is not a factor in today's housing market, it just really is. From the show we talked last week, we talked about builders' incentives. You're seeing that impact sales. We're seeing that impact showings and then offers that we get. It seems like when we get offers, we're able to get things to closing. There's always something going on. There's something in the air. Part of that's the economy. I've been doing this long enough, almost 26, 27 years, and when you see the economy uncertain, job numbers just came out, then you see shifting in every little thing from a contract detail to inspection to a payment change to a payment shock. All these things come up, and they're so important that you have the right team to kind of help you push that deal to the finish line. We have so many people that are waiting for the lock-in effect. While homeowners have stayed in low pandemic-era rates, this effect is causing how long they can stay there. The challenge is, I've got a 3% rate, Ryan. I want to buy something at 6.5%. We just talked about the $400,000 mortgage, right? It's just not affordable. So many people across the country, they live in a home. If they had to go back and buy that same home, they can't do it. What we paid in our house, Hardin Valley, paid that price now, it's almost double or tripled. And then you take that at a 6.5% rate, it makes it very challenging. The key strategies moving forward in an evolving real estate market will always be buyer and seller negotiation tactics, incentives, rate buy downs, handling inspection requests. We just got a request that came through. They needed more time. I think the days of, they would ask for something and would come through. There's more teamwork that has to happen in today's market. It's simple. You got a buyer that wants to buy, seller that wants to sell. And a great real estate coach of mine would say, Ryan, get out the way, right? A lot of times buyers, sellers, and try to get out the way. Don't cause more issues. Don't, if the buyer needs more time to, get a structural person out or get a second opinion, give them the time that they need. Because a buyer is going to make a more confident decision, right, when they have that information. How is tech helping advance in today's market. We've got a great listing in Mallard Bay Cove subdivision on 12423 Mallard Bay Drive. An amazing listing that just went live a week or two ago, but we finished the production. You may see it on social media. It's an amazing property. Make sure you set an appointment to go look at it. But why I encourage to go look at that property, other than it's gorgeous, almost 10,000 square feet, is technology. You know, as we bridge technology, so many of our buyers have come since COVID to our area, bringing more traffic to East Tennessee than we've seen in a long time. And so technology, we have the ability to walk through that 10,000 square foot home in California or Texas. And, you know, it's a hard travel to be here for the weekend. But we're giving consumers what they need and targeting them. That's a big deal. Giving the buyer the information makes it easy, right? And that's going to mean more showings and views. The views that we have and engagement and calls off of that are amazing. So technology will play a role in getting your home under contract. That's key in selecting an agent that you move forward for. Obviously, some questions that we had. I don't know if we had time to get through all of them, but you know, one of the biggest questions that we get is, when is my best time to sell the house? I always talk about that a little bit. Your best time to sell a house probably is when you're ready. And I think that's a loaded answer, right? But really it's when you're ready, when your family is ready for that move, you know, to time it perfectly. You know, if you can't find the right property, that makes it a big decision. But a lot of things seem to work out when you put your house in market and you have your kind of ducks lined up. But if you're not ready and we're timing the rates and we don't have a real purpose of where we're moving, then it becomes real challenging. So I'd say the best time to sell your house is when you and your family are ready on such a big move. Listen, as always, the show goes quicker than we expected. We appreciate you guys tuning in every week and following Real Estate with Ryan. We'll have an amazing, great show for you next weekend. Enjoy your weekend. Go Vols. We'll see you back next weekend.